Hi, today we are going to be making some chess pieces. You can choose any one of these or you can make all of them. We're going to learn three main things today. The first is how to use the pen tool to draw just half of one of these and then use the lathe tool to spin it around and make a complete model. We're going to use the letter D in Lightwave to bring up the display, and that will let us put an image of these in the background. You're going to use just half of this model, so we'll be using the pen tool, and basically we'll be drawing around all the little details. This is a little sloppy, and you're going to be a whole lot more accurate and wobbly. But basically you're going to draw half of it and then spin it. If you get a crooked line like this in Lightwave, you'll want to straighten it out, because with a crooked line like this you'll end up with a hole in the bottom of your model. So let's get started. We're going to open up Modeler here. And the first thing is we're going to load an image into the background so that we can draw around it. So we're looking at the different views here: the top view, the back view, the right view, and perspective. I'm going to hit the letter D for display. And this is a big menu. So we're going to go to backdrop. And the top left would be looking at the top, so we don't want to use that. The top right is perspective, and we don't want to use that. Bottom left is we'll be looking at either the back or the right side. And on a chess piece, since they're symmetrical, they'll probably look about the same. So we can load it into either one of these. I'm going to choose bottom left. Then I'm going to click on image, and I'm going to go get the pawn. If yours comes in really small, you can grab the little magnifying glass and size it up so it's nice and big and easy for you to draw around. I'm going to close this. Since I'm not going to be using the top, and I won't see what it looks like for a little while, I want to give myself a lot of room to draw so I can get the details. If you click and hold right here, it becomes a little cross. Move it up so that these windows are smaller, and then you can have plenty of room to make your image in the background nice and big and easy to draw around. We're going to go to the Create tab and go all the way down here to where it says Pen. See this black line right here? We want to stay on one side of the black line. I almost always draw on the right side. It's just my choice. You can draw on either side, but just stay on one side of this black line. I'm going to create Pen, start on the black line. Let's go around. At any point you can grab the point and move it around if you've made a mistake, and place it in the spot that you want it if it had landed in the wrong spot. So go around the edges and down. Almost there. Go across and end up right on the black line again. Hit enter, and it's hard for you to see mine, so let me see if I can choose textured wire. Shows me what the half piece looks like. So if I want to still go in and change some points, I can go to point mode, and I can grab just one point, hit T to move, and I can change where that point is. and make adjustments. Hit enter and then click in this gray space to let go. Okay, so I'm going to hold in the center again and bring this down because I want to be able to see my whole model as I spin it around. Polygons are generally only one-sided, so you can see that the back side is invisible and the front side you can see. I'm using this little turn tool to spin it around. If you don't want to use the little turn tool, you can hold down Alt on your keyboard and turn it by grabbing right on the image here. So remember, Alt is an alternate way to spin your model. Hold down Alt and spin it. Okay, so this kind of spinning, we're just looking at the image and making sure that we have it correct. To actually make it three-dimensional and bring the whole image together, the whole model together, I want to go to multiply, because multiply means more and I want it to be more. So I'm going to go to multiply and then lathe. A lathe is a tool that is usually used in wood shops to create table legs and poles and things that are symmetrical. It's also very much like a pottery wheel. Whatever shape you have, if you spin it, it continues with that shape. So lathe, click in the center, and then spin your model around back to the center and let go. If you like what you have, hit enter. And now you have a choice of leaving it with the kind of sharp edges like what you see here, or you can hit tab on the keyboard and it becomes more rounded. If I hit tab again, it becomes sharp edged, and tab rounded. Okay, so I'm going to look at my model, and I didn't get it exactly on the line. I have a couple of choices. I can remake this model. I can delete it and do it again, or I can weld the top together. So I'm going to zoom in by either using this magnifying glass or the period key on the keyboard. And I'm going to scoot down in this view so that I can see all of the points on the top. Make sure I'm in point mode. Select all the points across the top. I'm going to scoot this way just to make sure I don't have any other points selected, just the ones on the top. Hold down Control on your keyboard and hit W for weld. Whoops. This tells me that I had a point at the bottom selected, so it welded it to the bottom. I didn't see it even though I checked. So I'm going to do undo, and I'm going to deselect by touching the ones in the center here. Now I'm making sure that I have just the outside ones, and again I'm going to hold down the Control and hit W, and it welded them all together. It doesn't always weld them exactly centered, so I can select that one point now. You can see it right there. T is the shortcut to move, and I can move it so it's right. Oops. Be careful. Sometimes they jump around, and guide it back to where you want it to be in the center. And you might have to be checking all your angles like I did. It can sometimes move around in different angles, so make sure in all 4 of your views that you have it in the right place. So the bottom probably has a hole in it too. If you were going to create this on the 3D printer, you would probably want to hollow it out or weld the center like I did for the top. But since we're just going to animate this, and you're never going to see the bottom unless you tip one over, you can just leave that and it'll be on the board. So there's a pawn, and that's your first model to make.